Ha 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 ha. Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. Hope you're doing well, and it is time for our weekly track roundup, where I go over what I felt were essentially the best and worst tracks of the week. First, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, the good people over at The Ridge. I'm your number one melon man, minimalist wallet salesman boy. You know what it is, because these guys make these great metal-plated, minimalist, fit right in your front pocket nicely, replace your disgusting, bulky leather wallets. And get on this thing. I've had this thing for months now. It's hardcore. It is still going strong, even when I beat it up a little bit. And I love it. I love it. It's changed just the way my pockets feel forever. All right. Listen, link down there below to get your own. Use promo code MELON to get 10% off your first order. Cool? Cool. All right, of course, down there, our Amazon and Turntable Lab associate links are there in the description box. If you want to buy yourself a colorful pressing of a record we have reviewed on the channel and you want to give us kickback for it, get it on Turntable Lab. The link is down below. All right, let's get into the worst tracks of the week. The worst tracks of the week. First off, brand new song from Cal Chu Chesta. You guys know him. You like him for some reason. And he makes garbage rap songs. And this new one is maybe his most garbage yet. The lyrics are essentially, I got my rubber duck, I got my pickup truck, and then it just kind of like repeats from there. He's got a lot of auto-tune on his voice. Honestly, it sounds like a really awful Playboi Carti ripoff. And it's just pure garbage. I'm not sure what else to say about it. Shout out to Michelle, who did the cover art for this thing. We will link her Twitter down below, but I'm still, F Cal. I'm still in F Cal mode because the song sucks, but we'll put a link down there where you can stream it. So if you want to stream the sucky ass song. All right. Moving on from there, not really all that big on the new Khaled. Honestly, it's titled My Bad, and the longer this dude is out, the more sanitary, pristine, lifeless, and boring his approach to ultra smooth and commercial R&B is. Just not really all that wowed by this track. Also not really wowed by the relatively lifeless new single from Geschaffelstein, which features vocals from Haim on the track, which you'd think would bring a little pep to the song, but it's the exact opposite. It's very, barren, I guess I'll say, in terms of anything interesting to hear, any pulse, any excitement, passion. It's really just very emotionally flat and still, I guess, and not really in a way that's all that gratifying. Moving on from there, let's get into the tracks I thought were kind of meh. Wasn't crazy about them, but still thought they were worth shouting out, paying attention to, giving a quick mention, and we have quite a few songs in this category to run through this week. Might not spend too much time blabbing about all of them, but just letting you guys know. Vampire Weekend, I did a full-length track review of the two new Vampy Weeks tracks on the Fantano channel, Big Blue and Sunflower featuring Steve Lacy. And truth be told, I was kind of underwhelmed by these new cuts. I thought the last two Vampy Weeks singles and teaser tracks were great. These, however, are really drab. One track has a bit of a jam band vibe, but the tune at the core of it is okay, but the instrumentation comes together in a really clunky, awkward fashion that does not complement the track at all. And the Steve Lacy cut does have a blazing and fun and colorful guitar lick to it, but not really much else. Moving on from there, the Mountain Goats came out with a brand new track that honestly, I don't know if I'm really looking forward to this new Mountain Goats record all that much. I mean, John Darnielle's records aren't so hit or miss that he comes out with pure garbage, but, there are some albums of his that just don't really add up to much for me personally, and I feel like with all the teaser tracks so far, that's just the case as of right now. Maybe I need to hear the entire record and get a feel for whatever the narrative of this new album is to really get excited about tracks like this, but honestly, between the very stiff and driving guitars and John's kind of faint and under-delivered vocals. There wasn't really anything all that stunning about this new song from them for me. Moving on from there, the Get Up Kids, they have a new record on the way, new song out, which if you are a hardcore Get Up Kids fan, I think you will like the pop, punky, peppy, and passionate delivery that they have on this new track over here. Satellite is the name of this new cut. It's not bad. It's pretty catchy, pretty well written. Tropical Frick Storm has a brand new cut out that I thought was, again, kind of understated and underwhelming. Definitely not as noisy and as glitchy and as overwhelming as a lot of the great tracks from their last full-length album. This is more of a slow burner, maybe a song that's going to grow on me a bit more when they do drop a brand new record, but still, make no mistake about it, these guys are one of the better and more interesting and cutting-edge Australian bands out there on the scene right now, so do pay attention. Also, there's a very clear connection from the band to another great Australian band, The Drones. So, do keep your ears out if you're a fan of that band as well. And if you aren't, listen to them too. Moving on from there, Stephen Malkmus of frickin' Pavement fame has a new solo record on the way. He's dropped a brand new single. These new singles from Malkmus have really run the gamut from horrible synth pop Odyssey attempt to just very plain sounding indie rock on this new cut over here. I mean, I think there's like the potential for a great tune at the core of this thing here, but he sort of diverts the songs into a lot of weird stops and directions to prevent it from sounding like maybe another track that's more popular that's already out there. It seems like it could be a pretty sweet and straightforward ballad, but I think he kneecaps the tune of the track too many times for it to like really stick with me, honestly. Moving on from there, Marshmello and Churches come through with a brand new track here with me, which is actually not that bad. The Marshmello beat is fun. Obviously, Churches bring those bright, youthful, kind of chirpy, emotional vocals that are pretty sweet. While I have not really been a big fan of either artist's recent solo material, I think they actually came together pretty well on this new track. So, I don't know, if you're looking for a Church's vocals on top of a kind of an EDM beat with a pretty good tune at the core of it. Give it a shot, I suppose. Moving on from there, Ibibio Sound Machine comes through, the cutting edge group that fuses elements of Afrobeat with synth pop and post punk and a myriad of other things. A brand new single, and yet another one that I found kind of underwhelming, honestly. Guess We Found a Way is the name of this new cut. It's a very slow burning ballad that just didn't really grip me, frankly. I mean, it's very easygoing, very relaxing. It's got some pretty vocals on it, but, just wasn't really speaking to me song-wise. Moving on from there, we have another track. I was recently hype on a single from this new Glen Hansard record. And this new one over here, while it does take a long time to get started, it does have an amazing and a climactic ending, but maybe more listens to this thing eventually when I do get to the entire album. The first portion, which I do think is kind of underwhelming, could definitely grow on me. But as of right now, wanting a little bit more, but still feeling relatively impressed, especially by how incredibly crushing the finish of this song is. And the first leg of this track is so faint and so subtle, you don't even see that explosion coming, frankly. Moving on from there, Freddie, Gibbs, and Madlib come through with a brand new cut, Bandana, featuring Assassin. Honestly, while I am really looking forward to this project, and I think it could potentially be one of the best rap records of the year, I was not really all that wowed by this cut, and for a myriad of reasons. Madlib's production on here is not really all that colorful. Freddie Gibbs comes through with a flow that is eerily familiar, and his chemistry with Assassin is almost non-existent. And Assassin's presence on the track, while he is here, and he throws in some refrains on the track occasionally, they're really not all that catchy. I just feel like for the most part, he's kind of killing air in between the Freddie Gibbs verses. Just kind of bland and underwhelming, frankly. Maybe more listens to it, it'll grow on me, but not really the banger of a single the last track was, unfortunately. Moving on from there, the Irish rock band Fontaines DC comes through with a very slow and Moving on from there, the Irish rock outfit known as Fontaines DC comes through with a pretty sad and downtrodden song attached to a music video about what sounds like a young man kind of coming to terms with responsibility and fatherhood and sort of growing through that. It's a pretty introspective track that I think will definitely hit me in the feels a bit more once I hear the band's new full-length album, which I hope is dropping soon. Keep a frickin' ear out, people. Moving on from there, Foles has just dropped their new full-length album. A lot of people talking it up. Maybe one of their best records in years. I tend to maybe possibly agree, given some of the singles thus far have been fire. I do like the groove of this new cut over here that has been dropped in promotion of this new album over here, In Degrees. But honestly, not really crazy about the vocals and the song at the core of this one. A little bland, but still, groove is tight. It's Foles. They got a tight groove set in their tool belt. Moving on from there, Earth has come through with a new cut that I think sonically takes it a little bit back to their Bees Made Honey days, but honestly, like the guitar licks and especially the drums are not really as impressive as they were during that era in the band's career. And if you're looking for something really slow and relaxing, some very resonant and drony guitar music that really emphasizes a meditative state, I recommend you give it a try. I think any newcomers to Dylan's guitar style and guitar tone will most likely be impressed on some level. And if you are, I recommend you go back into the band's discography and get a hold of their more promising LPs. But even though I am favoring the clearer and more beautiful and pristine sound of this new track over here, I don't know, just not really all that wowed by the playing. But still, new Earth record on the way, and a new Earth record is certainly better than a lot of what we're hearing out there in the rock underground these days anyway. So moving on from there, Charly Heat teams up with Denzel Curry for kind of a banger. I mean, some of Denzel's weirdest lyrics in a while turn up on this record, kind of like some eyebrow-raising stuff. It's like, really? I don't know, man. That doesn't sound that hard. But the beat goes on this thing. The beat definitely goes. Denzel does still bring his trademark fast and furious flow. So Aloha is the name of this new cut. Give it a shot. Give it a try if you're looking for a banger. Letting all the Com-Trues fans out there know that Existence Schematic is the name of this new track from the project. Still not a huge fan of the throwback, groovy 80s synth vibe that Com-Trues drums up. But hey, if it's your bag, if it's your vibe, if you love that retro synth stuff that's slightly chill wavy, listen to it. Don't miss it. Give it a try. I mean, it's still not doing much for me, but hey, if it's your thing, it's your thing. All right, moving on from there, Black Mountain has come through with one of their bolder tracks in a while. If you do love 70s, somewhat hard and kind of proggy rock throwback groups that used to be larger in number from what I remember in the mid and late 2000s, they're kind of dwindling off, and Black Mountain is one of the few out there from that era that's still kind of kicking, and for good reason. They were easily one of the best bands of that moment in time, and they clearly still are. If you love that vintage, proggy, heavy riff oriented sound, and the guitar work on this new track over here is actually pretty great. It's actually pretty impressive. Give this thing a shot. Future Shade is the name of this new cut over here. Andrew Bird has a new song out, which is a pretty decent ballad, not all that wowed by the indie folk instrumentation, which is pretty average for him, frankly. But the tune at the heart of this track, I think, is one of his sweetest and most compelling in a while. And now we are moving into Best Tracks territory, which we also have quite a few of as well. We're getting through a lot of songs in this episode, honestly, which is kind of why I'm blowing through a lot of them, because we've got a lot to get to. And remember, all these tracks that I'm talking about, they're all linked down below. So, if any of this stuff strikes your fancy, give it a shot, give it a listen. All right, we have a brand new track from YBN Cordae, who, as of this point right now, to me is like the most promising member of the YBN group, and comes through with bars on bars on bars on bars, very smart, clever, funny, and hard-hitting on this new track over here, which again is titled Have Mercy. And, just bars on bars on top of a good quality beat. Frickin' Tierra Whack has a brand new cutout, which is wild, it's eccentric, it's weird, it's fun. She continues to kill it. I just wish there was a bit more hype around what she was doing right now, because she's like really putting her eccentricity like out there in the brightest and most fun and enjoyable way. And I think more people need to take to that. It's pretty imaginative what she's doing, I think. Moving on from there, The National has a brand new track out, new record on the way. You Had Your Soul With You is the name of this new cut. And this is actually kind of an interesting change of pace for The National. This song is a little bright, kind of hopeful, kind of positive, a little sweet on the ears. The lead vocals are delivered in a fashion I'm not usually used to hearing on a National album. And the guitar work is edited and manipulated in a way where it kind of has this sweet, glitchy, left field quality to it. It's actually kind of a great track. Really looking forward to seeing what the National pull out of this direction, especially given that their last record was my favorite of theirs in years. So I feel like this is a bright new frontier for the band, honestly. The Black Keys are back. Woo, woo, woo. Woo, woo, woo. The Black Keys are back. Whoa, Low High is the name of this new track over here. It's got some pretty vintage and classic guitar playing on this thing. It's got some, I don't know, just feels like a real sweet throwback, I guess. Maybe not as punky with its energy as some of the band's older and most classic material, used to have when it came to playing hard rock and blues rock and soul infused rock and that sort of thing. But I don't know, the production on this one is pretty lush. It's pretty impressive, and it certainly seems like it's got more of a pulse and more flavor to it than anything off the band's last full-length album. So I guess I'll leave it at that. I feel like from that record, the band could only go up, and Low High definitely has my ears excited, my interest peaked. All right, Quelle Chris comes through with a new cut, going in a direction that I honestly never really expected from him. I mean, the dude's songs are typically pretty odd and left field and just strange to the ear. This new one, Straight Shot, is actually kind of soulful and chill and sweet. A lot of sung vocals on this track, a lot of features as well. It's pretty passionate, I guess. And Chris sort of shows another side of him, I guess. And I'm sort of liking the consistent gun theme running throughout all the songs sort of, released so far from this thing. It's proving to be an interesting sort of project that is shaping up here. Matmos has come through with a new track. I've been praising this duo's music pretty much every week so far because they keep dropping new tracks. If you love wild, sample-heavy electronic music that is way off the beaten path and just like so far down the weird rabbit hole, give it a listen, give it a shot. Do not miss it. Please, support Matmos because they're freaking awesome. And The Crying Pill is the name of this new track. Mac DeMarco has a brand new single out as well, which I did a full-length review of on the Fantano channel. Loved this one. It's a very low-key, very minimal, very stripped-back ballad, but I do feel like the song is great. It's a great song. Singing is great. It's faint, it's quiet, but it's emotional, and it's potent. I'll just leave it at that. Power and simplicity for Mac DeMarco, I guess. Also, with a similar sort of like cover art orientation here, we have a brand new single from IDK, Trigger Happy. Bars on bars on bars, great energy, great flow, great delivery on this track. It's hard as frick, dude. He's just going off, and I'll leave it at that. Tamera, brand new track from, actually not brand new. I missed it. It came out a little while ago, but it's a total banger. It's from Doja Cat, features Rico Nasty, and love the very playful and tongue-in-cheek and quirky and funny and super raunchy lyrics on this thing. The beat is amazing. The Rico Nasty feature is totally raw and disgusting. One of the most fun, female on female bangers of 2019, period. Going on from there, CupcakKe comes through with a brand new track, Bird Box, which actually ties into a very funny bar on this track. The Bird Box line is very funny. Kind of standard beat for CupcakKe, honestly, but man, she's just wild. She's just freaking wild on the microphone. Like, she says nothing but insane fucking shit, and that's really all I have to say. And I'm just consistently impressed with the insanity that she brings on the microphone. And I'll just leave it at that. Like, she's really going in raunchy places, and also like pulling out bits of wordplay that I just don't hear other rappers doing, and I'll leave it at that. Moving on from there, the Chemical Brothers actually have a pretty decent new track out, which if you look it up, they also have a like a super fast remix of this song, allegedly like the fastest remix ever. So they came out with the fastest remix ever of their own new single of We've Got to Try is the name of this new cut. Actually features a pretty stunning but weird lead vocal and kind of a throwback weirdo house beat, and it's got a great groove to it, and I like the progression of it. It's pretty cool. Moving on from there, I fricks heavy with this new Charly Bliss single. Really loving how effectively the band are embracing like these synth pop and pop rock vibes on these latest singles, but they're still not like losing their vocal and their performative edge on these tracks. This track over here that they just dropped is incredibly catchy. Chatroom is the name of this new one, and it's attached to a really fantastic music video that sort of dives into cults and I guess cult behavior. To Cage the Elephant has a brand new cut out, which is very weird. It's very tense. It's very lyrically leans on the lyrics kind of heavy. It's very dark, and I will leave it at that. Do not miss it. Do give it a shot. It's definitely giving me hope for the new record, even though the last one I thought was kind of underwhelming, the last teaser track. Billie Eilish, I actually have enjoyed her new track over here. What is it? Wish You Were Gay is the name of this new one over here. It's very low-key. The lyrics are very odd, kind of sweet in missed connections romance kind of way, and I guess very confessional and kind of revealing. I don't really get anything out of her last couple of tracks that she dropped from this new record of hers, which everybody is freaking hyped for. But honestly, this is the first one where ballad wise and lyric wise, it actually stuck with me a little bit. So I guess I'm looking forward to hearing more tracks like this. Hopefully there are on this new record of hers. And All Your Sisters is going to be the last track we shout out in this list. It is a brand new track from a band that I'm familiar with on the Flenser. And the name of this new song is Self-Medicating. And it is this amazingly crushing, like super noisy, intense piece of industrial noise rock with some pretty decent vocals and very heavy, like very, very shrill at points production, which I'm liking a lot. So definitely give it a shot. If you love old school Swans, I think you'll get into what the band is doing here, aesthetically at least, aesthetically. So we're going to leave it at that. That has been the weekly track roundup, everybody. Remember, once more, shout out to our sponsor in this video, good people over at Ridge, the Ridge Wallet. Again, get that via the link down below, promo code MELON, 10% off. And we will see you guys in the next video. Hopefully you got some good recommendations out of this one. And looking forward to recommending more and more and more. All right, do take your time with the description box down there, because we did hit you and we did link you with a lot of tracks in this episode. And once more, do not miss out on that really awful Couch Chesta track. Okay, Rubber Duck, pickup truck. All right, Anthony Fantano, music, forever.